Hey guys, this is Josh from AcabadoTheme.com. Today I just wanted to go over the About Us page. I created an About Us page and then did an export because people were having a hard time trying to figure out how to make an About page, especially if they're trying to go without Elementor or additional plugins. So what I created was a large, nice, pretty looking About Us page that's just built with Gutenberg itself and no fancy tools. And it basically just gives you sections that you can use to lay out any information you want to. If you want to talk about your other sites, you can obviously delete any sections if you don't need them. But I would think at least, inside sites, you would at least list the site that you're currently working on. And then basically details about yourself. If you're doing anything that's coming up, things that you want to do. I mean, these are really just ideas, and they're really based around kind of what Jim has on Income School is to an About Us page. And I just wanted to lay out and show that you can make a pretty nice looking About Us page using just the built-in editor with a little bit of elbow grease and using some custom CSS to make it look different than the rest of your site. So I've got instructions that are about downloading it and setting it up, but people have had some issues in going through the steps. So I just wanted to get a chance to go through all of this and give everybody a chance to see what's in there. I'll go ahead and jump over to the page just so that everybody gets a chance to see what it looks like in the back end. So if you go into the About Us, what you'll see is this is what it looks like back here, right? This is what the CSS and the cleanup looks like on the back end. So as you'll see, it always looks more chunky in the back end, but the cleanup and CSS builds it to make it look much more impressive overall and cleans it up and gets you to a nice feel. But this is inside the editor. When you import it, it is what it's going to look like. So you can update it really easily. You can just click in here. You could swap out your picture and move on to the next thing. You can go in here. You can actually edit all 3 columns. You could change it into 2 columns. You could do any kind of change you want to. This is kind of just to spur on your thoughts and understanding as to what's actually possible within Gutenberg if you're going to take the time to do it with a little bit of overall elbow grease. So what we need to do is first we're going to need to go ahead and download this, right? So what you need to do is right click. You want to save the link, and it's just an XML. Save it to your downloads, because you're going to get to it right away pretty quick, okay? So the next is to import the file. So what you have to do is, this actually is an inbuilt tool inside WordPress by default, right? So if you go into tools, you can go to import, and while you're inside import, there's going to be a bunch of different tools that you can actually install that'll do all kinds of different importing. So what you want to do then is go down to where it has WordPress, right? You want to do install, because what you're trying to import is a WordPress file. So again, if you had one from Tumblr or if you had one from different ones, you would want to install that one specifically. So once WordPress is installed, you can actually just click Run Importer, and you'll see. So Tools, Import, WordPress, install it. Click on the importer. What we're going to do is now choose the XML download. So once you're in here, you're going to choose the file, the one we just downloaded. Say open, and just say upload file and import. And what this does is this imports the actual page that's contained within there. And then typically what you want to do is just, instead of importing the author, because you never know what the author name would be, you want to just select your author name, so the one that's inside your existing one, and then you want to download and import those files, just because I don't know if you have those images, but this way you're not going to be missing anything that's needed for it to display for you. And then once it's done, right? So now that page is there, so if you go over to pages, close that bar. Now you'll see, if we look, oh, it's because I had one already existing. I probably should have deleted it. 1 second, let's do this. I am not perfect. We'll delete this one, right? Now we can go back over here. We'll do import. Because it tried to overwrite what I already had there. I should have deleted it. So jump back to that step real quick. A chance for everybody to go over this step again. Select your file, upload and import. Change it over to yourself. You want to go ahead and download and import those attachments. Alright, so now it's there. So what we want to do is go back over to Pages. Now I should have an About Us. There we go. So now the next step is the one where a lot of people get hung up, which is there's custom CSS to make it look like this on the front end. So you're going to have to import, you're going to have to copy and paste this into your custom CSS. But I did mark these sections that are, say, you know, to check the page ID. And when I built it, it was page ID 53 on this site. But if you already have a page ID 53, when you import, you're going to get another page ID. If you haven't made any pages, you'll get page ID 53 because it hasn't made it before. So in this case, what you do is you hover over it, and then you'll see in the very bottom left-hand corner, you'll see that where it says acabadotheme.com, it says post 1004. So that 1004 is the number that you want to put in here. So what we're going to do is we're just going to copy this whole section. We're going to remember the 1004. What we're going to do is go into Acabado settings, and then scroll down. It's about 2/3 of the way down for custom CSS. Whenever I'm dropping a big file, I drag this and make it a little bit bigger. You want to scroll all the way to the bottom, and then you'll go ahead and add it. And then what you're going to need to do is go back through, right? All these ones where I put this, we want to change it to 1004, right? So every time you have this, you need to make it 1004 just to make sure it loads against the right page for you. Okay, so once you've changed all of those pages, you need to go back up. You need to click Update. And this just is saving that custom CSS so it'll be available when it tries to load itself. When you go back over to Pages, what you can do is just go to View, and you can open in a new tab. And then it's going to load that page that we had with those images that we told it that we wanted to import. And then it's going to give it the formatting we want, right? But what you'll see is over here, there's a section where your sidebar would be, right? So what you have to do is go back into here. You need to go to Edit. And once this comes up on the right sidebar, and where most people don't pay attention to, if you scroll down, you can actually come down here, and there's a bunch of different templates, right? You can do, okay, so there's, because the Elementor is here, there's more. So normally there's default and there's full width layout. So default is the one that's going to give you the sidebar, and then full width is the one that you would typically use to remove the sidebar itself. So let's just add that and refresh. And then we'll go ahead and reload this page. And interesting. Okay, I can't tell you my site might be broken. I put a lot of things into here to make the display for everybody. So let's go to the actual clean one right now, just because I want to show you what it actually is, because there's less gobbledygook in the way. So when you look, you want full width layout itself, and full width layout is what gives you this. So I've broken something over on my site that is making my sidebar still show up. So let's do this. Whenever you get an odd behavior, you always want to go ahead and switch, because like I have the child theme to do the sidebars. So I always want to make sure that if it's behaving odd here, that I check and make sure that it's not just because the theme itself is doing something different than I'm expecting. So I switch over to the primary theme, and then I'll try and reload. Yeah. So now I found another defect inside my child theme. So good thing I'm working on that. But once you're back inside here, you'll see now you've got all this stuff aligning up, right? It's in place. It's looking how it's supposed to look. You'll note the pictures don't work, so what we want to do is we can go back over here and see if I've just typed in something poorly, because this is where those page IDs can come in to play. Because before, when you were looking at the pictures, so there's the image block, right? So images are always interesting. What we're trying to do is, before, when I did the code originally, it was applying to just the images, but the problem is that was applying to images across the site for everybody, and I didn't want to do that. And I understand how nobody wants round pictures throughout the whole thing necessarily, unless it's an actual decision point, so I tossed that in the last minute. So we can go over here, we can see if that fixed it. No. Okay, so what we do is we can inspect, right? Inspect is part of Chrome to look and see. So what you can see is here, and you can see we've got this actual class that we have. So what we can do is just add that over here and just say if it's that, then we can go apply these same things. So let's go see. On the fly adjustments, I'll go put this back in, so that way you guys don't have to go through this later. But this allows you to kind of see. So these are where you can start trying to play around to see if I can apply it specifically at one level or if I have to apply it at a higher level, right? So when you look and that doesn't work, so you're trying to see where you can get to when this will actually do what you're, what you're expecting it to do. Which I may have broken too, because I may have it actually up above. But I'll go ahead and fix this in the custom CSS. So I'll update this, and I'll make sure to mark it in here so you can see, updated as of 10/16/2019 as soon as I've got it repaired. If you want it to apply, if you want to give the radius to all of the block images, then you could just delete off this page, but it's not 100% useful. So I'm gonna be right back. Give me 1 second.